The Chiefs lost their first game of the season last week, but they still control their own destiny at 9-1 with 7 games left to play, and they'll have a shot to get back on track with a matchup against the Carolina Panthers on deck. Now, the Panthers are 3-7 this year, but don't let the record fool you. They've won 2 games in a row. They beat the Giants in Germany 2 weeks ago in overtime with a field goal, and the week before that, they beat the Saints by a point at home. And they're also coming off their bye week, so they're rested and they're playing good football right now. And the player that you want to know on their offense is running back Chuba Hubbard, who's having a great season. He's 4th in the NFL in rushing yards this year with 818. Only Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Josh Jacobs have more rushing yards this season than Chuba Hubbard, and he's averaging more than 5 yards per carry. He's also averaging 3.6 yards after first contact this year. That's 3rd best among all running backs with at least 150 carries. And he's also coming off his best game of the year. He rushed for 153 yards against the Giants in Germany a couple weeks ago. So Hubbard's the engine that makes the whole thing go, and when he's playing well, he takes a lot of pressure off quarterback Bryce Young, who of course lost his starting job earlier this season, just wasn't playing very well, but he's since resumed that job the last 3 weeks, and I think he looks a lot better, certainly more confident when he's out there. And he has some weapons in this passing game, notably wide receiver Xavier Legette, rookie out of South Carolina, who I liked a lot in the draft process. He has a tremendous blend of size and speed, and we've seen that on display at times this year. He has 4 receiving touchdowns to lead the Panthers. Kind of an under-the-radar player to know as well is rookie wide receiver Jalen Coker, undrafted free agent at a Holy Cross, initially cut at a training camp in Carolina, but made it through waivers, then made his way back onto the active roster, and he's really come on lately. He has 17 targets over the Panthers' last 3 games, and on those, he's averaging 17.2 yards per reception. Those 17 targets are tied with Legette for the team lead in that span, so Coker has certainly kind of found his way into this offense, and he'll be a player the Chiefs need to slow down on Sunday. And speaking of the Chiefs' defense, they finally allowed more than 27 points to an opponent last week, yielding 30 to Buffalo and snapping their 30-game streak, which began with week 1 of last season. Hopefully they can begin a new streak here against Carolina, and as we've talked about, that all begins with slowing down running back Chuba Hubbard. And the good news for the Chiefs is they remain excellent against opposing running backs this year. Even with Buffalo scoring 30 points last week, running back James Cook really never got going. He rushed for just 20 yards on 9 carries. And now for this season, the Chiefs are allowing just 3.1 yards per carry to opposing running backs. Hopefully they can keep that going here in this game against Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks, the talented rookie out of Texas who will likely be making his NFL debut in this game. Good news is they've been great against opposing running backs this year. One area I'm hoping to see the Chiefs kind of clean up in this game, though, is their performance against 3rd down and medium. That was one of the issues with that Bills game because Buffalo converted 6 times on 3rd and 6 or longer, 4 times via a play and twice via a penalty. And on those drives, almost always where they converted a long 3rd down, they ended up scoring later on. You take just 1 or 2 of those out, it's a totally different outcome. So a strong performance on 3rd down and medium here in this game would be a great way of kind of flushing that performance and moving on. Now, looking at the Panthers defense, these guys have struggled this year. It's the number 32 scoring defense in the NFL. They're allowing more than 30 points per game on average. They've allowed the 2nd most red zone drives of any team in the NFL, and they also have the league's worst 3rd down conversion percentage at 48% in terms of opponents converting 3rd downs against them. They have held each of their last 2 opponents under 23 total points. However, that coincides with their winning streak, and they also have some really good young players on this defense as well, notably cornerback J.C. Horn, who's allowed just 20 catches for 230 yards on 356 coverage snaps. One area this defense has really struggled this season, though, is against the run. They're allowing 160 rushing yards per game to the opposition, most in the NFL, and in all but one of their games this season, they've allowed opponents to rush for at least 100 yards. And I think the Chiefs have been at their best offensively this year when they really commit to a power running game. We've seen that all year long with Kareem Hunt, and looking at where Carolina has struggled this season could be another busy day for Kareem. So it won't be easy on Sunday. Carolina's playing pretty good football right now, but it's also a great chance for the Chiefs to get back on track, move to 10-1 on the year, and also record their 10th consecutive season with double-digit wins.